Hey guys, it's Bitcoin Schmitcoin here with another update for Bitcoin Magazine's Bitcoin analysis. We'll be starting on the monthly time frame, working down to the weekly, the daily, and taking a peek at the 4-hour time frame because the parabolic growth is just insane at the moment. The first thing I want to point out is this monthly level we're testing at the moment. We are at the highest monthly close to date, and our monthly candle closes in a couple of days. So this is particularly relevant. What we can see here is we see the previous tweezer top concluding our parabolic market, and now we're retesting it from the underside for the first time since making this close. In 2018, we never really got a chance to retest it because the rejection was so high, and now we see the market coming up and retesting it for the first time. When we look at the weekly time frame, we see just how dramatic this rise has been. We've blown through 3 monthly levels and countless weekly levels. It's just been a relentless buying effort, and we can see that we've only really established one weekly level on this entire run upward. We see it outlined at 8,700, and that also marks a 50% retracement from our monthly close, which is this level right here. The market is quite literally parabolic, and we can see as we look at the daily time frame, the buying pressure, volume, and candle spread wise is accelerating. This is quite characteristic of parabolic markets. At the tail end of parabolic growth, we see a lot of short interest that just keeps compounding and keeps getting liquidated. So a lot of times we'll see people short a level, the price will push above it. They'll get liquidated, which will push the price even further. People will short again. We get this compounding interest where we keep climbing and climbing and climbing until ultimately we hit our buying climax and we see a rejection. I'm not exactly saying that's what's going to happen here, but this is a logical place to start to top out. And if we manage to find our top, well, then we most likely will see at minimum a retracement to this daily/weekly/monthly level at 8,600. If we continue to grow, well, the next target for price growth is going to be this weekly level, which is our second to last weekly level, and that's at 16.1. We're running out of levels here, and if we continue to grow and grow and grow, well, then we're going to break a new all-time high. I would be kind of surprised if we did that, but I would equally be unsurprised if we did do that. This market has been irrationally bullish. We've seen a lot of altcoins suffer, so most of the capital is focused in Bitcoin. And a lot of buying pressure has gone into this markup campaign that we're seeing. When we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see just how crazy this growth has been. There's been zero pullback to speak of since breaking out just a few days ago. A couple weeks ago, we saw our bottom at 7,500, this local range here. And since then, it's just been a massive rise. And we can see just how crazy it is because look at our 4-hour volume here. Look at our 4-hour candle spread here. We are approaching a climax, and the buying climax is going to mark at the top of our parabolic blow-off. Where that parabolic blow-off actually takes place remains to be seen. I would not want to be a bear at the moment because this is just irrationally bullish. And if you've been an early bear that's just been shorting these weekly levels here, or maybe here, or maybe here, well, then you've been getting eaten alive, and this thing's just been climbing and climbing and climbing. That being said, I would not want to be a bull right now if you haven't already bought into the market. If you're waiting and you're sidelining cash, this most likely is not going to be the time for you to buy in. This parabolic blow-off will retrace. There's no question about it. It's just the question is just going to be, when will it retrace? And right now, the more it climbs, the more risk you're assuming and the more offside you will potentially be with your position. So in my opinion, the best thing to do is just to wait. This thing is aggressively growing, and whenever we see things like this where the market's going parabolic with no pullback, well, then the snapback is going to be just as aggressive as the rise because when it comes back, there are no support levels established for it to find support on the way down. So we got to be careful with markets like these because we really don't want to buy into parabolas. We want to sell into parabolas and take profit because, like I said, the snapback will be violent. Again, I just want to emphasize just how crazy this parabolic growth has been. We're blowing through several monthly levels, and now we see we're at our local top, and there are 0 monthly levels above this. And now when we look at our weekly level, we are at our second to highest weekly level here. Above this, the next price target would be The 16.1, above that would be our 19.3K, and then above that, sky's the limit. But given how aggressive this thing is growing, I don't know that we necessarily want to see growth here, because if we grow that high, well, then again, the snapback is going to be violent. I would personally want to see, in terms of building a macro bull market, I would want to see this thing start to pull back sooner rather than later and retest these weekly levels that we've just blown through, and most importantly, retest this guy. Because if we come back and we find support here, well, then I think a new all-time high is definitely in the cards. But if we just continue to grow, well, then the retracement is going to be very violent, and that's not something we want to see. So keep an eye out. You know, if you're an eager bear, you're asking to get your heart broken, and if you're a late bull, I think you're not in the best position to be buying, because I think you're going to regret it in a few weeks when this thing pulls back. You know, even if it does come up here, it's going to pull back, and I think that a better buying opportunity will present itself.